The midday sun beat down on the bustling downtown avenue, turning the air thick with heat and exhaust. Horns blared in impatient rhythm, pedestrians surged like a river around crosswalks, and street vendors shouted over the chaos, hawking hot dogs and cold drinks. Mixed with curses, phones rang endlessly, and the city pulsed with its usual frantic energy. Amid the crowd, a man in a faded work shirt pushed through, toolbox swinging at his side. Then, a sharp yelp cut through the noise, like a small animal in pain. Heads turned briefly, but the flow kept moving, eyes dropping back to screens or watches. The yelp came again, weaker this time, from the narrow gap between two parked delivery vans. No one stopped. The light changed, and the crowd surged forward. But he did. His name was Marcus, 42, a plumber who'd been fixing leaks in this city for 20 years. Grease still lingered under his nails from the morning job, and sweat soaked the back of his shirt after climbing 5 flights in a building with no elevator. He was late for his next call, Mrs. Jenkins and her perpetually clogged sink, but that sound pulled him sideways, off the sidewalk, and into the shadow between the vans. There, pressed against a tire, was a small boy, no more than 7, curled up with his arms wrapped around his knees. His face was streaked with tears and dirt. A school backpack, too big for his frame, slumped beside him. He wore a bright red shirt that stood out against the grimy concrete. His breathing came in shaky hiccups, eyes squeezed shut as if the world might disappear if he wished hard enough. Marcus crouched down slowly, toolbox clunking against the pavement. The street roared just feet away, but in this sliver of space it felt muffled, distant. He scanned quickly, no parent in sight, no one calling a name, just the boy, alone in the madness. "Hey, buddy," Marcus said quietly, voice low and steady, the same tone he used with skittish dogs on job sites. "You okay?" The boy flinched, peeking through his arms. His lip trembled. I can't find my mom." The words tumbled out, followed by a fresh wave of tears. "We were holding hands, and then the people pushed and she was gone." Marcus nodded, heart tightening. He knew this street, knew how fast a hand could slip in the weekend market crowd. His own daughter, Lila, was 10 now, but he remembered the terror of losing sight of her at the county fair years ago. The memory flashed sharp. His panic, her tiny voice calling, "Daddy," from 3 aisles away. He could stand up, flag down a cop at the corner. That would be the smart thing. Protocol, safety. He was already behind schedule, phone buzzing in his pocket with the next client's reminder. But the boy's eyes, wide and pleading, held him there. No one else had stopped. The street kept thundering past, indifferent. Without a word, Marcus slid his toolbox aside and sat cross-legged on the hot asphalt beside him. He pulled a half-crushed granola bar from his pocket, the one he'd saved for lunch, and held it out. "Here, you look like you could use this." The boy hesitated, then took it with grubby fingers, unwrapping it slowly. Marcus didn't push for more words. He just sat, a quiet presence in the storm of noise. Minutes passed. The boy ate in small bites, shoulders gradually unclenching. "My name's Theo," he mumbled finally. "We came for the farmer's market. Mom said to stay close, but there were so many legs." Marcus smiled faintly. "Happens to the best of us, Theo. The city's big and loud. We'll find her." He pulled out his phone, not to check work messages, but to open a photo of Lila at the beach last summer. "This is my girl. She's a bit older than you. Lost her once too. Thought I'd never breathe right again till I found her." Theo leaned in, studying the screen. A small laugh escaped him at Lila's goofy grin with ice cream on her nose. The sound was fragile, but real. The risk settled in as they sat. Marcus wasn't a cop, wasn't trained for this. What if the mom thought he was trouble? What if someone saw a grown man with a crying kid and jumped to conclusions? His truck was parked 3 blocks away, tools inside worth more than a month's pay. Leaving the job undone meant no payment today, and bills were stacking up at home. Lila's braces appointment next week wasn't cheap. But Theo's hand crept toward his sleeve, fingers clutching the fabric like a lifeline. Marcus didn't pull away. "Let's try something," he said. He stood, offering his hand. Theo took it without hesitation, small palm warm and trusting. They stepped out from between the vans into the blazing sunlight. The street assaulted them anew. Shouts, music from a busker, the sizzle of food carts. Marcus hoisted Theo onto his shoulders, high above the sea of heads. "Look around. Tell me if you see her." Theo's weight was light, his legs dangling. From up there, the boy's fear eased into focus. They moved slowly against the current, Marcus weaving through the crowd with one hand steadying Theo's sneaker. People glanced, some smiling at the sight, others oblivious. Minutes stretched. Doubt crept in. What if she wasn't here? What if they'd gone separate directions? Marcus's phone buzzed again, ignored. Then Theo stiffened. There, the blue hat. Marcus followed his pointing finger. Across the street, near a fruit stand, a woman in a blue sun hat spun frantically, calling Theo, her voice cracked with desperation, face pale under the brim. Marcus didn't hesitate. He stepped into the crosswalk as the light turned, holding up a hand to halt a taxi that honked impatiently. They crossed quickly, Theo bouncing with urgency. The woman saw them and froze, eyes widening. Then she ran, pushing past shoppers, arms outstretched. "Mommy." Theo slid down Marcus's back and into her embrace. She dropped to her knees, clutching him tight, tears streaming freely now. "Oh God, baby, I was so scared." Marcus stood back, hands in his pockets, letting the moment belong to them. The woman looked up, face flushed with relief and gratitude. "Thank you." I turned around for 1 second to pay, and when I looked back, he nodded, a small smile. "Glad he's safe. He's a good kid." She hugged Theo closer, then stood, reaching out to shake Marcus's hand. Her grip was fierce. "You have no idea. Thank you." Marcus glanced at his watch. 40 minutes late now. Mrs. Jenkins would be furious. But as mother and son walked away hand in hand, Theo turning to wave shyly, the weight in his chest lightened. He made it to the next job an hour behind, apologizing profusely. Mrs. Jenkins grumbled but forgave him when he fixed the sink faster than usual, humming under his breath. Weeks later, on a quieter Saturday, Marcus took Leela to the same market. They wandered the stalls, her hand firmly in his. As they passed the fruit stand, a voice called his name. It was Theo, holding a small paper bag. His mom stood beside him, smiling warmly. Theo ran up and thrust the bag forward. "For you. We made them." Inside were fresh-baked oatmeal cookies, still warm. A note in childish scrawl. "Thank you for finding me." From Theo. Marcus knelt down, accepting the gift. "Any time, buddy." Lila raised an eyebrow later, munching a cookie. "Dad, you're smiling like you won the lottery?" He ruffled her hair. "Something like that." Months passed. The city kept its loud rhythm, but Marcus noticed the small things more, the way strangers helped with strollers, the nods between drivers letting someone merge. One afternoon, fixing a pipe in a high-rise, he found a photo tucked into his toolbox. Theo on his shoulders that day, snapped by the mom from across the street. She tracked him down through the plumbing company. He pinned it inside the lid next to Lila's school picture. And on busy days, when the horns blared and the crowds pushed, Marcus remembered one quiet decision amid all the noise. Sometimes, the smallest pause could steady a trembling world. In a city that never stops, one man did, and everything changed. If these quiet moments of humanity touch your heart, consider subscribing. We share more stories that remind us we're never truly alone. In a world that moves too fast, sometimes all it takes is one person to pause, to listen, to help. Kindness doesn't shout, it simply shows up when it's needed most. Have you ever been that person for someone, or had someone be that for you? Share your moment below. Let's keep reminding each other of the good we're all capable of.